Welcome to InkThinks. Over the last few weeks, there has been a lot of talk about Fortnite and Smash. A lot of this stems from rumors gaining traction and supposed leaks that Fortnite is looking for something new and big to promote their game. When talking about Fortnite and Smash though, I've started to see the same arguments popping up over and over and over. Well, today I'm going to take each of those arguments one by one and break them down in an effort to figure out what Fortnite's chances of being represented in Smash are. Let's get into it. The year was 2011 and Epic Games just revealed their idea for a new game that was said to be a combination of Minecraft and Left 4 Dead, in which 4 players would work together to scavenge resources to build fortifications, traps, weapons, and other objects to survive monster attacks. The idea was an awesome one that got fans super excited, but it wasn't long until Fortnite fell into development purgatory. It wasn't until 6 years later in 2017 that we saw an early release access, but the scope of the game had totally shifted in that time, and the original concept had been given a more specific title of Fortnite Save the World. But due to some of that long and troubled development and some questionable business decisions, that part of the game never really took off. In the meantime though, the developers have been working on something on the side, a multiplayer version of Fortnite Save the World, which they would call Fortnite Battle Royale. This Battle Royale mode first started getting significant refinement around 2014, but in 2017 it was officially released with Fortnite Save the World still on the back burner. Epic Games' years of developing shooters like Gears of War and experience creating the Unreal Engine 4 finally paid off in a big way with their addition of this Battle Royale mode. This free-to-play multiplayer mode has become absurdly popular. In August 2019, the number of active players was at 78.3 million. This is really impressive when you realize that that number eclipsed the total sales of nearly every series represented in Super Smash Bros. And when you take that number a few months into the future, in March 2019, they had a total of 250 million active players. That means that they had more active players in Fortnite than Minecraft had copies sold in all of its lifetime. That is absolutely mind-boggling. There's a website that shows you the current number of players online right now, and at the time of writing the script, about 6 a.m. on a Friday morning, there are just under 5.4 million players, which I actually think is on the low side. I'm going to leave the link to this website in the description for this video so you can check what the number is right now. Leave it in the comments so we can get a better idea of what the average is. But concerning the players that I am seeing, they alone outnumber a majority of the series in Smash, and more than double the count of online players of League of Legends, which used to be the dominant online game, and totally eclipses the players of Overwatch and TF2's active player count. And apart from just the player count, they're raking in serious amounts of cash. In 2018, they brought in an estimated $2.4 billion just from Fortnite. To put that in perspective, due to the launch of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo made just about $9.5 billion in that same year as an entire company, according to their shareholders report. As just a single free-to-play Battle Royale game, Fortnite was able to bring in more than 25% of the entire revenue brought in by the corporation, and that's without the decades of foundation that Nintendo needed to lay down to get to this point. In 2017, just a year before, Nintendo only made about $4.3 billion, which would put Fortnite's 2018 sales well over half of their total revenue. What's more impressive is that Fortnite has been able to keep this up and continue to make billions of dollars each year. I don't want to keep boring you with the numbers, but hopefully you can get a grasp on just how insanely popular this game is. This is the first point really working in favor of Fortnite. A lot of people want to dismiss it as a flash-in-the-pan fad that will be gone in a few years, but it really isn't shaping up to be the case. Over the last few years, Fortnite has more than proved its global staying power. It hasn't only maintained relevance with interesting seasons, changes to gameplay, and bizarre collaborations, but also the game is just dang fun to play. I remember when Fortnite first came out, my college roommates told me to download it. I remember specifically because we spent about $40 to $60 on V-Bucks because I didn't know it was free to play, and we were so confused about why it wouldn't download. But after we got the game downloaded, it was just so much fun to play, and it still is. The game was so fun, in fact, that 5 of my college roommates basically lived on my PS4 for a semester playing the game nonstop. In fact, by the end of that single semester, I had 1,545 hours put into the game from my roommates. To put that in perspective, there were only about 98 days total in that semester, and their playtime came out to a total of 64.5 days. Noah, Cody, Ian, Julian, and Carter, if you're watching this, I'm never going to forget that impressive, nearly superhuman level of playtime you put on my system. But the reason I bring this up is because it isn't too far out of the norm. I know that there's a stereotype that a bunch of kids are playing Fortnite, but the statistics don't reflect that. A good majority of them are between the ages of 18 and 24, so a lot of late high school, early college kids. But I guess my point with all of this is that Fortnite definitely has some serious presence in the world. The sales and the player base were and continue to be unmatched even by titans in the free-to-play genre. The game is darn fun to play, and many of the collaborations seem to give it a serious edge in the battle for permanence in gaming history. I'm going to list off some of these collaborations real fast. We've got Astronomical, Marvel Comics and the Avengers, Aquaman, Batman, Borderlands 3, John Wick, Marshmallow, the NFL, Wreck-It Ralph, Star Wars, Stranger Things, and they even crossed over with the man whose career they helped define, Ninja the Streamer. If those aren't some crazy achievements for crossover, I don't know what would be. On top of their impact with collaborations though, we can see some serious shifts in digital marketing coming from Fortnite. They've held actual live concerts in their game, shown unreleased footage from Star Wars, and they're using their massive player base to try and fight established monopolies in app stores like Google Play and Apple's own App Store, and they've even been challenging Steam with the Epic Store on PC. The game has also become so popular that it became an entry point for a new generation of gamers. This has brought a ton of people into the hobby that wouldn't have otherwise been there, which is great for the gaming industry. This huge popularity has even led to some weird out-of-game notability, such as dance and fitness classes being offered around Fortnite dances. And we've seen studies done on the effect of Fortnite on children's brains, and it's probably even reached that point of popularity where mainstream media has started saying it's evil and rotting children's brains. Let me check. Yep, it's got that too. And while the game has undoubtedly brought more people into gaming in general, which is good for the community as a whole, it's also served as a bridge for people to a bunch of new hobbies outside of gaming, such as dance, fitness, or, I don't know, epic rap battles of history. This isn't just another Flappy Bird or Pokemon Go that's going to be popular for a few months and then fade away. While it is still too young to know exactly what will happen, even if the game 100% died and was shut down today, it would still have left more of a legacy than a plurality of the characters in Super Smash Bros. And that is really saying something for a game like this. But anyway, we should take a step back and talk about those collaborations for a minute. One of the keys to Fortnite's success has been just how on the ball their marketing and collaboration team has been. We've seen all of those companies that I just listed be willing to work with Fortnite, as well as a ton of other companies. But we can also see that one of those companies is Nintendo, and that Nintendo is willing to work with them. Not only do we have Fortnite on the Switch, but we can see Kirby himself in an actual trailer of Fortnite, just bopping away at a dance party. It's really interesting because we have seen that Fortnite tends to be very deliberate in their marketing and is no stranger to teasing out future events. The video of Kirby was later censored into a cloud-like blob in future iterations of the ad, including the official video on Fortnite's channel, but the original video still exists on the internet. It's really super fascinating to me, and it could either be referencing the fact that Fortnite is on the Switch, or hinting at something to come in the future. Given the fact that Fortnite has been out on the Switch for a good while, and this just barely aired earlier this year, I think I'm leaning more toward the second camp, that it's hinting at something to come. I'm not exactly sure how relevant this is, but it's certainly interesting to note that Kirby is Sakurai's own creation and the sole survivor of the world of Light Attack. Like I said, I don't know how much that counts towards stuff, but I thought it was worth noting. This cameo really can be interpreted a few different ways, and I think all of them are legitimate. But people also say that Fighter Pass 2 so far has been consisting of new characters, so Fortnite would make sense to fit into that pattern. But honestly, I'm gonna have to dismiss that argument. It is true that the last two characters have been from this decade of gaming, but we've only gotten 2 characters revealed this pass. It isn't nearly enough of a pattern. Last Fighter Pass, people did a similar thing and insisted that our last DLC fighter in Fighter Pack 1 would fit the pattern of being a third-party character, and then we got Byleth. I think it's far too early to declare any sort of real pattern here. There is also a common argument made surrounding genre competitiveness within the roster. For example, people say that Steve already takes up the character who can build things archetype. Or if Jonesy got in, that would work against other popular shooter characters. Let me start with the whole building archetype claim. First of all, this isn't a real archetype. Secondly, since when has a character mechanic dominated a spot on the roster? Sure, Steve can also build, but we see a lot of characters who can shoot, stab, counter, and reflect. I don't think that Steve and Fortnite would really be competing in any meaningful sort of way. And if anything, Steve shows a precedent that Nintendo is willing to work with building characters. Being totally honest though, I kind of forget that Fortnite even has building because I always sucked too bad at the game to ever utilize it. Next though, let's talk about the competition between Fortnite, Halo, and Doom, or some other popular shooter games. First off, I want to distinguish that Fortnite is a third-party shooter, so it's not even really the exact same genre as Halo or Doom. But secondly, we don't have any evidence to suggest that Nintendo is only allowing one character from each genre, or even one company for that matter. We see Piranha Plant and Banjo, both from platformers. We see Hero and Joker, both from JRPGs, and arguably Byleth, depending on how you count that. And we see Min Min and Terry, both coming from fighting games. I'm not sure where the idea of competition within a genre come from, but I haven't really seen anything to back it up. If anything, I see stuff working against the idea. Lastly, I'll say that if you're worried about Halo or Doom, I actually have separate video analyses on each of those, so I'm going to throw those in the playlist in the top right corner now for you to check out. Speaking of my other videos, I recently did one called The Problem with Fortnite and Smash, where I talked specifically about the argument of legacy and cringe with a Fortnite rep. I highly recommend checking it out, but if you want my condensed thought on the ever-popular cringe argument, I don't think that it's super valid. The whole idea of cringe tends to stem from novelty and the fact that the player fan base is really vocal, rather than anything about the game itself. And while you could argue that some Smash players are going to be annoyed at the inclusion, you're going to have to convince me that they're louder than the 6.5 million players online right now. That's crazy. It went up by more than 1 million in the time it took me to write 2 pages of the script. What I'm saying is that there's always going to be annoyed Smash fans complaining about whoever is put in the game. Anything from anime boys to Snake's shrinking backside, people are always going to look for things to complain about. But people also neglect how small of a minority these loud, angry fans truly are, even for more controversial characters like Steve. I also want to take a minute to mention the unkillable zombie argument from hell that is coming back once more from the dead to be shot in the head and put down to rest. That's the argument of moveset. As I've said before, we've seen repeatedly that Sakurai can make just about anyone work, as evidenced by Captain Falcon, Rob, Piranha Plant, etc. But I also want to mention one more angle. One of my subscribers,
Boss Kin Basher,
mentioned in a recent video that we do have evidence of Sakurai being blocked by a moveset because we've seen him stumped by Heihachi from Tekken. Let's break this down real quick. What this refers to is an interview done with Sakurai for the magazine Think About the Video Games, volume 456, published on June 3rd, 2014 in relation to Super Smash Bros. 4. In the interview, Sakurai was asked, between Bandai and Namco, were there any other strong candidates for inclusion as fighters? To which Sakurai responded, there were none. We basically thought of all the characters at the start of development. We decided on characters we knew we could make. However, there were a few in consideration, such as Heihachi from Tekken. The interviewer exclaimed, Heihachi? To which Sakurai replied, that's right. However, implementing Heihachi's movement in Smash would be difficult. Here's what we know from this interview. Sakurai at one point considered several characters to develop. Heihachi was one of those characters in consideration, and they also found that implementing his movement, not his moveset, would be difficult. We don't know for sure if that's what disqualified him, and it's also important to note that this was done 6 years ago, when Smash was run on a totally different hardware and required to work on the 3DS just as well as the Wii U. So many things have changed since then. But regardless, Sakurai said absolutely nothing about a moveset, and we have never seen anything to really suggest that Sakurai would be significantly hampered by a moveset. If you're still not convinced on a Fortnite rep having a moveset, just search Fortnite Smash moveset or something on YouTube. I absolutely guarantee you're gonna find something. The last thing that I want to mention is this tweet by a Fortnite leaker. If you want to stay 100% away from leaks, then I suggest that you skip to the timestamp above. But it's definitely going to be an interesting conversation here. The leaker iFireMonkey posted on Twitter this image that he said were some key takeaways from a Zoom meeting with journalist Geoff Keighley and Fortnite creative director Donald Mustard. iFireMonkey has proven his credibility in the Fortnite scene with a very good leak record, and he says that this info comes from a reputable source. If we're going to assume that this is a real leak, which we have good basis for, here's what we know. There's going to be a Fortnite announcement at the Game Awards on December 10th. This is notable because it doesn't line up super well with Fortnite season season schedule, and Joker was announced at the 2018 Game Awards. Also according to this, Troy Baker, the actor for Jonesy, voiced in a new recording session. This could really be anything, but I suppose hypothetically it could be for Smash. Mustard also said that this season's event was the biggest event that they've ever done, and it will change the future of Fortnite. We also know that we got a big fat no comment when asked about Fortnite getting into the Smash universe. Now we know from Suda51 that when he said no comment about Travis Touchdown being in Smash, it turned out that it was because Travis was a Mii costume. That being said, I don't think that we can look at this and immediately use it to assume that Jonesy is a Mii costume, or even featured in Smash. Companies say no comment all the time for a huge variety of reasons, even if they aren't fully involved in the project. The only reason that Suda51's lack of comment was so strange is because he had been so vocal in the past about wanting Travis in Smash for years, and then all of a sudden he was clamming up. This isn't confirmation of Jonesy in the game by any means. We do know that Nintendo is probably doing something with Fortnite due to the trailer that I mentioned earlier, and when that's coupled with the other facts, it does honestly seem to suggest that something could be happening within the Smash universe. But I think that we need to look at something else. The line, the biggest event they've ever done and it will change the future of Fortnite. This is a huge statement when you compare everything that Fortnite's done. Even with how big Super Smash Bros. Is, I don't think that it would be big enough to eclipse all of Fortnite's events to this point. And the inclusion of a Mii costume certainly wouldn't. Do you want my honest prediction for what all of this is? I'm gonna make a really hard read right now about December 10th, so after the Game Awards, come back and tell me if I was right or not. On December 10th at the Game Awards, we're going to get a Fortnite announcement. Either a character is revealed for Smash or it's a fake out. We see the Fortnite crew and then Mario pops in and everyone thinks it's a Smash reveal and loses their mind, but then Sonic pops in and then Scorpion and Sackboy and Master Chief, and suddenly it becomes clear that Fortnite's huge event is a giant video game crossover within Fortnite, with a whole variety of famous video game franchises coming to the game, that may or may not be coupled with a Smash announcement. But anyway, that's just speculation. It's only one alternative to the current explanation going on right now, and I think it's important not to take the no comment arguments at face value with everyone saying that it definitely means Jonesy's going to be a character. There's definitely a lot more that you can look for here. All in all, I think that I really underestimated how huge Fortnite is until I made this video. We know that Epic Games would want to collaborate with Nintendo. There's zero doubt about that in my mind. And we've seen limited crossover already with Kirby as well as Fortnite on the Switch itself. We also know that Nintendo's aware of the game, Sakurai isn't held back by movesets, and there's some really fishy comments from executives. When all of this adds together, I think that things bode very well for Fortnite, honestly. As far as getting a fully fledged fighter in the form of Jonesy, I would give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10. As far as a Mii costume, or at least some other kind of crossover between Nintendo and Fortnite coming soon, I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10, honestly. I'm really confident that we're gonna be seeing some sort of Fortnite coming to Smash, which surprises me because I wasn't before I made this video. But let me know what you think in the comments. Did I change your mind at all? Do you agree with my take? Why or why not? If you want to see my full final analysis playlist, click the right of the screen, or click the video on the left to see something that YouTube handpicked just for you. Hit subscribe if you want to see when I post, or hit the bell if you actually want to see when I post. Fun fact, every time you hit the bell, Sakurai finds $1 on the ground. Don't ask me how, it's called science. Come talk to me on my Discord for further discussion, and until next time, stay smashing.